What's up guys, Elfis here, and today we're going to be doing another HoN tips. This one is going to be about orb walking or stutter stepping, for those of you who know either term. They are very similar, however there are slight differences in the way the terms are used, and I'll explain that after, of course, we go over what they are. So first of all, for those of you who aren't aware, stutter stepping and orb walking is basically just the idea behind moving your character in between your auto attacks as opposed to just right-clicking on the enemy hero you want to chase down and attack. And we'll go over what that means in a second. I just want to real quick reiterate, for those of you who haven't heard the terms before, orb walking is a term that was used back in the day when I started playing. It's since dropped off, but I like it, so I still use it from time to time. Stutter stepping is more so, used for like RTS games and things of that nature. But even, players in HoN know it, even if they don't have a term for it. So I've picked Arachna and Nomad here, and I picked Nomad and Arachna for the specific reason that Nomad has more movement speed than Arachna, so i.e. Nomad can catch Arachna, and he's a melee hero. Orb walking usually refers to melee heroes attacking ranged or other melee heroes, I guess, whereas stutter stepping usually refers to ranged heroes attacking either melee or ranged heroes. So this is essentially orb walking, but I'm going to show you what it is in normal cases first. So we're going to get them close together. I'm going to send Nomad to attack, and I'm just going to have her walk away. You'll notice, he'll catch up every few seconds and attack, and then he'll stall for a second and attack, and then he'll stall for a second and attack. And, he'll get off, I don't know, 4 or 5 attacks or whatever by the time we make it around the circle. And, he'll do that. Sorry, a little bit of missed micro there. So we're going to go ahead and have Arachna go over here. Nomad come there. We're going to go ahead and heal up Arachna, refresh. And then now what we're going to do is essentially the same thing, only this time I'm going to control Nomad, and I am going to walk in between my auto attacks. Now what that means is essentially, as opposed to just right-clicking and having Nomad chase after Arachna for X time and he'll get off X number of auto attacks, I am going to click to auto attack, and then in between the auto attacks I'm going to move. So I'll give you an example while he's sitting still, just because it'll be a little bit hard to illustrate it while they're moving because I'm controlling both of them. So essentially you assume Arachna's running away, I attack, and I'm going to walk and try and walk up alongside of Arachna, and so that I'm moving in between as opposed to just chasing. This is mostly used for chasing down enemies as melee heroes. Now ranged heroes use it as well, but it is of course less of a big deal for ranged heroes simply because of that range they have. So what we're going to do, nice, an invisibility rune, haha, irrelevant to this, but what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and have Arachna, who is slower than Nomad, keeping in mind, obviously if the two heroes were equal speed, this would be irrelevant. You couldn't catch the enemy hero ever, no matter how you walked and attacked and such. You just can't do it when they're equal speeds. So this is just as an example of how this would be efficient in a game. For example, Devourer's slow. If you just right-click, there's a chance they may be able to get out of the slow by them, using their skill to simply, the time in between attacks it would take you have your attack animation, and then your hero stalls for a second doing the attack. So they have time to get out of your slow, for example. If you're orb walking, it's essentially impossible, assuming they're not like incredibly fast or things of that nature. And more experienced players will get that reference. Some of you beginners may not understand what I meant by saying that, and that's fine. Don't worry about it. As long as you understand the concept, it's okay. So essentially, I'm going to have Nomad come up here. I'm going to take Nomad, and I'm going to attack in between my steps. Oops. We're going to have Nomad. We're going to right-click, attack, right-click. We're going to have Nomad, right-click, attack, right-click. And you'll notice, if you actually go through the concept of it, Nomad does actually get off more last hits by orb walking, and some of you new players may still not totally understand it. Essentially, and it's a hard concept to explain without giving you examples, without showing it to you. Essentially, it's just right-clicking and moving ahead of where they're going to be in between your auto attacks, and it will essentially allow you to move faster. And you can go ahead, feel free by all means to go, do some calculations and go through the times and do a number of example runs, yourself test runs, and check it out. And it is 100% true. You will essentially travel more distance if you do it that way. You'll be able to keep up with enemies better if you orb walk or stutter step rather than just right-clicking on the hero and having them run around, because it's just not as good. There's no chance that it is as good, and any player will agree with me. Any player who knows what they're doing should agree with me. Now, of course, keeping in mind that, the enemy, is obviously going to be playing for themselves. They're not going to be in, AFK Iraq, just running away. They'll be slowing you and things of that nature. And another example, here we go, during slows, the slow will affect your move speed even further. If I send Nomad to do this, and I just have her chasing me now, obviously he was too far away to have this matter at all anyways, but for example, if you were close enough and he did that slow and you weren't orb walking, he may be able to get away. There's a number of examples you could use over and over again. My best recommendation would be to just go play some games and try it out, and you'll see for yourself. I think the easiest heroes to notice the orb walking advantage right away are heroes such as Devourer and Deadwood, and heroes that are kind of really in people's face gankers essentially. Is tanky gankers really, but gankers essentially is my theory behind the best heroes to use it. As usual, I hope you enjoyed something. I hope you learned it. I hope to see more players orb walking. Believe it or not, for the experienced players who watch this, there are a number of beginners who I see do not do this, so I thought I would make a video about it. I hope it helps, I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you learn something. Orb walk from now on, guys. No more auto-attacking. Other than that, though, thank you for watching. Again, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in Heroes of New Earth. Enjoy orb walking. GG, well played, guys. Elfis out.